Hello, everyone. I wanted to talk about the question, why aren't writers or just creative people in general respected by society for the most part? Now, of course, you do have some famous superstar writers like Stephen King and people like that, but there are very few and far between. I mean, most if you were to ask the average person, for example, what writers do you know of? They could list Stephen King, J.K. Rowling, maybe George R.R. Martin, but that's going to be about it. Whereas they could probably name dozens of famous athletes, famous sports stars, and people like that. It seems that people who are capable of doing physical feats, of doing great physical feats, are more admired in general than artists. And I think that's very sad. Now, I am not downplaying the importance of sports or anything like that, but I just think it's silly that people tend to hold, I guess you could say, athleticism to a higher standard. And I really don't understand it. I mean, I can speculate. Of course, one reason might be is that when people engage, I guess you could say, with intellectual topics, they normally have to have at least some kind of background knowledge in order to properly understand it. Whereas someone can watch a sport and not really know much about it and still get into it because it takes a lot of, I guess you could say, intellectual rigor and work in order to become invested in intellectual topics or artistic topics. And so, in some way, sports are a lot more accessible, I guess you could say, to the average layman. And but again, that's just speculation on my part. I really don't know. I mean, for example, I think it's really sad that we don't see more, I guess you could say, intellectual discussion and intellectual debate on television, and you just see very shallow kinds of discussions that don't really lead anywhere. And I just think that's really sad. It kind of shows, what we value as a society in some ways. And these are just my thoughts, though I really don't have a clear answer, but it's just very apparent to me that writers and artists are just people who pursue intellectual subjects in general aren't really respected overall in society.